Welcome to my channel. Let's get started with today's story. I never considered myself the jealous type. I wasn't one of those husbands who checked my wife's phone or constantly asked who she was texting. I trusted Maya completely, maybe too much. So when she started going to the gym and raved about her new personal trainer, Josh, I didn't think much of it. If anything, I was happy she'd found something she was passionate about. At first, it seemed innocent enough. She would come home talking about her workouts, and how Josh was a fitness genius who pushed her harder than anyone ever had. "You should see the way he plans everything," she'd say, her eyes lighting up. "He knows exactly what I need to work on." I smiled and nodded. "Sounds like you're in good hands." She nodded enthusiastically. "You should meet him sometime, Robert. He's amazing." At the time, I didn't think I needed to meet him. I figured he was just a nice, professional trainer doing his job. But then, things started to change. At first, it was subtle. Maya began spending more and more time at the gym. What used to be hour-long sessions turned into 3-hour marathons. She'd come home later than usual, breathless and flushed, saying things like, "Josh wanted to teach me some advanced techniques," or "Josh and I got carried away working on my form." Advanced techniques? I muttered under my breath. That phrase lingered in my mind like a splinter. What did that even mean? One evening, I suggested we have dinner together, just the two of us. "You've been so busy lately," I said. "Let's go out?" She hesitated. "I can't tonight. Josh has me on this intense meal plan, and I don't want to mess it up." I frowned. "You can't take one night off to spend time with your husband?" She sighed, clearly annoyed. "You don't get it, Robert. This is important to me. Josh says consistency is key." "Josh says," I repeated under my breath. That name was starting to feel like a stone in my shoe, small but impossible to ignore. The unease began to gnaw at me. Something about her behavior wasn't sitting right. She started dressing up more for the gym, new leggings, tight tops, even makeup. Makeup for a workout. That didn't add up. Then there were the excuses. Workouts during what should have been family time, a sudden need to attend fitness expos with Josh, and trainers-only events that she swore were part of her gym's membership perks. A few days later, as Maya came out of the shower, I noticed something unusual. She was wearing a tank top, her damp hair draped over her shoulders. As she reached for her towel, I spotted faint bruises on the side of her hip and another on her upper arm. "What happened to you?" I asked, trying to keep my tone casual. She froze for a second before laughing nervously. "Oh, that? It's nothing, Robert. Just part of the workout. Josh had me doing this new exercise with weights, and I must have hit myself accidentally." "Accidentally?" I repeated, narrowing my eyes. "That looks pretty bad for an accident." "It's not as bad as it looks," she said quickly, wrapping the towel tighter around herself. "I'm fine, really." Her explanation didn't sit well with me, but I didn't push further. I didn't want to seem paranoid or controlling, so I let it slide, for the moment. I told myself I was imagining things, that Maya was just passionate about her new hobby. But deep down, the sight of those bruises left me with a sinking feeling in my gut. Something wasn't right. One afternoon, while I was at the office, a coworker of mine, David, approached me. David was a casual acquaintance, the kind of guy I chatted with in the break room, but didn't know well. "Hey, Robert," David said, his tone hesitant as he approached my desk. "Yeah," I replied, glancing up from my computer. David shifted awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck. "Look, I don't want to overstep or make things weird, but I think there's something you should know. I go to the same gym as Maya." I frowned slightly, unsure where this was going. "Okay," I said. David hesitated, his gaze darting around the office before settling on me. "Last night, I saw her there with her trainer, Josh. And, they didn't exactly look like they were just training." My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" He sighed, lowering his voice. "They were close, laughing, touching, leaning into each other. It didn't look like just a workout to me." I tried to keep my expression neutral, but the knot in my chest was impossible to ignore. "You sure about this?" I asked, my voice steady but low. David nodded, his face serious. "I know it's a big accusation, so I thought you should see for yourself." He pulled out his phone and handed it to me. "I recorded it." "Recorded it?" I echoed, the weight of his words hitting me. "Yeah," he said. "Here." I watched the video in stunned silence. It was dark, but clear enough. Maya and Josh were leaning against the wall in a quiet corner of the gym, laughing and talking in hushed tones. At one point, Josh brushed her hair away from her face and leaned in close, way too close for comfort. She didn't pull away. The final nail in the coffin was the kiss. It wasn't a quick peck either. They were full-on making out, oblivious to anyone who might see them. I handed the phone back to David, my hands shaking. Thanks for telling me. Can you send me the video? He nodded, his expression soft with genuine sympathy. Of course. I'm really sorry, man. If there's anything I can do. I forced a tight smile, though my jaw felt like it was made of stone. No, I said, standing up. I'll handle it. That night, I didn't say anything to Maya. I couldn't. I needed time to process what I'd seen and figure out what to do next. But as I sat in our living room, watching her laugh at some mindless TV show, I felt like I was seeing a stranger. How long had this been going on? How much of our life together had been a lie? I decided I needed more proof. David's video was damning, but I wanted to know the full extent of their betrayal. Over the next week, I started paying closer attention to Maya's behavior. I checked her phone when she wasn't looking, finding a string of messages between her and Josh that left no doubt about their relationship. Can't wait to see you tonight. You looked amazing yesterday, Josh wrote. You're so sweet. I wish I didn't have to sneak around, but it'll all be worth it soon, Maya replied. Then there was this one. How's the money situation? Are you able to get more? Josh asked. I'm working on it. Robert hasn't noticed anything yet, Maya answered. That message hit me like a freight train. Not only was she cheating, but she was also planning to take my money. I checked our bank accounts, and my worst fears were confirmed. Maya had been transferring money from our joint account into a private one. Thousands of dollars had vanished. That's when I realized this wasn't just an affair. It was a full-blown scheme. Maya and Josh were planning to run off together, leaving me with nothing. One evening, I set everything up, the video, the bank statements, and the texts. As soon as she came home from the gym, I sat her down. Maya, we need to talk, I said, my voice cold. She hesitated before sitting down, her expression wary. What's wrong? I slid the laptop over to her, and the video started playing automatically. Her eyes widened as she saw the footage of her and Josh. Where did you get that? She demanded, her voice shaking. That's not important, I replied. What matters is how long this has been going on. How long you've been lying to me. She stammered, trying to come up with excuses, but I cut her off. Don't try to spin this. I know everything, the affair, the money transfers, your plan to leave me. All of it. Her face crumpled. I'm sorry, Robert. I never meant for it to happen. With Josh, he made me feel special. I thought we could have a future together. I laughed bitterly. A future together with my money? She burst into tears, but I felt nothing. Sympathy, love, whatever I'd once felt for her was gone. She had taken everything from me. Trust, stability, even dignity. Now it was my turn to take control. I'm leaving, I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. I'll be staying at a hotel tonight, and you can expect to hear from my lawyer soon. I turned to leave but paused, looking at her one last time. I'll be back to collect my things. After that, I don't want to see or hear from you again. Any communication will go through my lawyer. The next day, I decided to confront Josh at his gym. I needed to make sure he understood exactly what he'd done. I walked into the gym, my heart pounding, but I kept my face cold and determined. I asked the staff where Josh was, and they pointed me in his direction. He was working with a client, spotting him as he bench pressed. I approached quietly. Josh looked up, his smile quickly fading when he saw me. Who the hell are you? He asked, his voice defensive. Robert, I replied, my voice unwavering. We need to talk. His eyes flickered with recognition before narrowing in suspicion. What's this about? I think you know exactly what this is about, I said, holding up the folder with all the evidence. I've got all the proof, the texts, the bank transfers, the video. Everything. And I'm not leaving until I get what's mine. Josh's face drained of color. His gaze shifted nervously between me and the folder in my hand. Look, man, I don't know what you think you've got, he began, but I cut him off. I know exactly what you've been doing, I interrupted, my voice low and hard. And now you're going to pay. You and Maya thought you could get away with this, but you're wrong. I'm going to make sure everyone knows what you've done. I'll ruin your reputation, your business, everything. Josh's eyes widened in fear. Come on, man, it's not what you think. Maya came to me. She said you didn't treat her right. This wasn't supposed to blow up like this. Before he could finish, the rage I'd been holding back exploded. Without another word, I stepped forward and threw a punch that connected squarely with his jaw. The force of it sent him stumbling backward, crashing into a nearby set of weights. The sound echoed in the otherwise quiet gym. Josh's hands flew to his face as he staggered back, his mouth open in disbelief. What the hell, man? You crossed a line, I said, my voice cold. You schemed against me and destroyed my life. You don't get to walk away from this. Josh glared at me, clearly shaken. You think you can just come in here and make demands? I think I just did, I replied, my expression hardening. You're going to make this right. You'll make sure Maya returns every cent she took from me, or I'll make sure the world knows what you did too. Don't think you're walking away from this without consequences. If you don't do the right thing, I'll make sure it's the end of your business, your reputation, and maybe more. Josh scoffed, shaking his head. I'm not the one who took the money. Maya's the one who did that. If you want your money back, go talk to her. I know that, I said, stepping closer, my voice icy. But you're just as guilty. You're not going to walk away from this. His expression shifted from defiance to uncertainty. His hands twitched, as if he wanted to fight back, but he knew he was out of his league. His gym was on the brink of collapse, and I had just driven the final nail into his coffin. It was over for him, even if he couldn't admit it yet. After the confrontation, I didn't wait around. I gathered all the evidence, screenshots, videos, the damning bank transfers, and posted it online. I made sure to tag the local fitness groups and gym goers. Within days, his business unraveled. Clients dropped him, and word spread quickly. The gym that had once been his pride and joy became a laughing stock, and he was left scrambling to salvage what little he could. As for me, I wasted no time filing for divorce. I hired one of the best attorneys in town to ensure my assets were protected and to prevent Maya from taking a single penny more than she deserved. My lawyer assured me that, with all the evidence at hand, the courts would see through Maya's lies if she tried to fight back. When the divorce was finalized, I sat in the courtroom, a mixture of exhaustion and relief coursing through me. The proceedings had been tense and emotionally draining, but the evidence I had presented left little room for doubt. The judge's decision was clear and decisive. Maya was not entitled to any alimony, given her betrayal and the clear financial misconduct. The thousands she had siphoned into her private account were ordered to be returned to me in full, with penalties for her underhanded actions. As for the division of property, the house remained mine. It was a win I'd fought hard for, emotionally and legally, because it symbolized the stability and future I intended to rebuild. Maya, on the other hand, was left to fend for herself. She tried to apologize, but her words meant nothing. She wasn't sorry for what she'd done. She was only sorry she'd been caught. As for Josh, his reputation was in ruins. I made sure the world knew exactly what kind of man he was. He thought he could get away with using my money and taking advantage of me, but I wasn't going to let that happen. His gym shut down, and I made sure everyone knew why. I didn't feel good about it, but I wasn't sorry. Sometimes revenge is the only way to take back control. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe my channel for more stories.